I was 9 years old the first time I heard someone whisper my name through the walls. My name is Thomas Brindle. I was born on a lonely patch of earth my father called Briar Farm, miles from the nearest neighbor. No electricity, no telephone, just cornfields, pastures, the distant lowing of cows, and the wind that always seemed to carry voices. That night, the wind wasn't enough to explain the whispers. It was early spring, 1891. The fire in the hearth had almost died, leaving the room cold and shadowed. My parents slept in the adjoining room, their breaths deep and even. I lay awake in my narrow bed, staring at the rafters above, counting the cracks in the ceiling. Every floorboard groan, every settling beam felt magnified. The silence of the farmhouse seemed heavy, almost alive. And then I heard it, a soft, thread-thin voice. Not my mother's, not my father's. Thomas. I bolted upright, hard hammering. I pressed my ear to the wall, straining. Silence. Then closer, sharper. Thomas. Let me in. I ran to my parents' room, yanking the door open. I heard it, the wall. It's talking. My mother pulled me close, wrapping me in the warmth of her shawl. It's the wind, darling. You're overtired, she whispered. My father didn't speak. He stared at the wall, his eyes shadowed. Not again, he murmured. They made me sleep at the foot of their bed that night. The wind rattled through the cracks of the old farmhouse. Every shadow seemed to twitch and shift. I could feel something in the corners, something waiting. I tried to close my eyes, but the whisper returned. Thomas, look. I turned, expecting to see something, but the room was empty. Only shadows clung to the walls. I could hear my own heartbeat in my ears, loud, drumming, drowning out everything else. The air smelled of damp wood, smoke, and something faintly rotten. The next night, I returned to my bed, though fear gripped me like iron. The door was open. I clutched the quilt to my chin, wishing the walls would be silent. Around midnight, a faint tap came from the wall. Knock. Pause. Knock. Pause. Knock. The air grew thick. I could smell wet earth, rotting leaves, faint smoke from the hearth. Thomas, come to me. A shadow moved in the corner. Long, thin, stretching unnaturally. It was childlike, but wrong. I froze. My father whispered, Do you hear it, Thomas? I nodded. My mother grabbed my hand. Do not answer it. Ever. The shadow lingered, circling the room, learning, waiting. I pressed my face into the quilt. Its presence was heavy, suffocating. Every creak of the floor sounded like footsteps approaching. The darkness felt alive. By the third night I realized it could move. It slid beneath floorboards, pressed behind walls. I could feel vibrations through the mattress, into my chest. The whisper returned. Thomas. Open. The wall. Boards cracked, bulged outward. Shadows stretched. I pressed to the floor, heart pounding, chest heaving. The voice was cold, patient, hungry. He's getting closer. It withdrew, then returned, circling, always near, whispering, waiting. The air smelled damp earth and mold. I could hear my own heartbeat echo in the room. Every shadow seemed to twitch. By night 4, my parents refused to let me go outside. Even the chickens seemed aware of something, clucking nervously, huddling in corners. At dusk, my father stared at the cornfield. The tall stalks parted, like hands moving through them. No wind, no sound. Yet a figure emerged. Tall, thin, watching. I felt it pressing through the air. Heavy, Impossible. The shadow inside the house moved along the walls. It didn't touch the floorboards, yet I felt it pressing against my mind. "It's inside," my father whispered. I hid beneath the quilt. The shadow circled, sliding along walls, lurking in every corner. By night 5, the whispering had changed. It wasn't just my name. It spoke of secrets, things buried long ago, things my family tried to forget. "The past is yours, or it will take you." I heard it even in the day, faint, almost ignorable, but it tugged at my mind. That night, a pale figure appeared in my room, childlike, made of mist, glowing faintly. "Do you remember the orchard?" I did. The orchard behind the barn, the place where my uncle vanished years ago. A secret we were never to speak of. The figure drifted closer. Floorboards groaned beneath its weight. In the air smelled a damp earth, rot, something older than the house itself. "You have the key. You must remember." I ran to the fire. The figure vanished, but I could feel it, inside the walls, inside my mind. By the 6th night, I could no longer ignore the whispers. They followed me from the orchard to the farmhouse. The wind carried them through the cracks in the walls, soft, insistent, almost human. "Thomas, remember, remember." I felt the weight of the farmhouse pressing down on me, floors creaking under a presence that had no mass. The smell of damp earth and rotting leaves clung to the air, thick and suffocating. I tiptoed across the hallway, counting each floorboard, as if my life depended on it. Shadows stretched long across the walls, shifting when I blinked. I reached the main room where the fire had died to embers, cold and gray. Every flicker of light became movement. Every movement became a whisper in my mind. "Do you see? Do you see me, Thomas?" I could feel it near the ceiling, sliding along the beams. My heart thumped in my chest like a drum, echoing in the empty house. The air was thick, almost liquid, making each breath a labor. I wanted to scream, but my voice caught in my throat. "You cannot hide. You belong to us." By the 7th night, I dared to walk to the orchard alone. The moon was high, casting silver light that made the cornfield look alive. Every stalk seemed to sway, though there was no wind. A figure appeared, pale, indistinct, drifting between the stalks. "Thomas, find it. The key." I stumbled through the corn, knees cutting into soft mud. The smell of decay was stronger here, mingled with the sweet scent of crushed leaves. The figure hovered closer, but as I ran, it always stayed just beyond reach. I could feel it in my mind, pressing memories I didn't understand. "You remember? You remember? Now." Night 8, I returned to the farmhouse. The house had changed. Hallways seemed longer, ceilings higher. Shadows gathered in corners, watching, breathing. I could hear whispers behind the walls, murmuring secrets of long-forgotten events. The past is not gone. It waits. I spent hours in the main room listening. Every creak of timber, every rafter groan felt like communication. My hands shook as I touched the cold wood, tracing the cracks. The whispers were patient, hypnotic, pulling me into thoughts I could barely hold. "You must open it. You must see." By the 9th night, I could feel it everywhere. Even my dreams were filled with shadows twisting through corridors of the farmhouse. I awoke at odd hours, heart racing, breath ragged, feeling eyes on me from the corners. The smell of damp wood, soil, and something older than memory filled my nostrils. "Thomas, the key, the orchard, remember." I followed the voice to the orchard again, now certain of what awaited. The moonlight revealed more than I wanted to see. Pale footprints, small and childlike, led into the hollow beneath the largest tree. I knelt at the entrance, heart pounding, listening to whispers that seemed to crawl inside my mind. You must open it. Now. The 10th night came with no hesitation. I entered the orchard at dusk, the farmhouse silent behind me. The hollow awaited, dark and cold. I could see the figure, pale and mist-like, hovering near the center. It extended a hand, beckoning me. Remember, Thomas. Remember everything. I crawled inside, feeling the damp earth press against me. Memories of my uncle, of long-forgotten secrets, of whispered names, all came flooding in. The figure drifted closer, almost tangible, the cold seeping into my bones. I wanted to scream, but the house, the orchard, the shadows, all held me still. You belong to the past. By dawn, I emerged from the hollow, trembling. The figure was gone, but the whispers remained, faint like a heartbeat beneath the wind. I knew they would never leave. The farmhouse, the orchard, the shadows. They were mine to remember. I always carry them. I always will. Subscribe for more chilling tales.